Hi, my name is Gudrun from GE Designs. Welcome to my live quilting chat, Tipsy Tuesday. Hi everybody, thanks for being here with us. Of course, Mr. HP is controlling the show, ruler of the roost. Say hi. We are just a little under the weather today, so I apologize for my voice being a little raspy. We got some throat bug in us, so he's already wearing pajamas. Busted. But if you are new around here, make sure you say hi to everybody in the comments and tell us where you're tuning in from, your name. Kobe's here too. He's took a spot right behind me. Now, of course, we love it if you throw out some thumbs up and hearts our way, share our show, or at least subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow our page on Facebook if you're watching on Facebook. Now, this is our first Tipsy Tuesday of 2022.
Happy New Year!
And even though it's show number 134, so in total, so we're excited for another full year of fun with all of you viewers. So I'll be giving you some details on our first quilt along of the year, and as well as some good stash management tips to kind of enter the new year as we begin our quilting journey of 2022. So we of course have a giveaway at the end of the show, so make sure you stay tuned all the way through. We have a live winner pulled from all of your comments at the end of the show, and then we also have a giveaway question, so you get a chance to enter our giveaway whether you're watching live or not. So I wanted to start by announcing our winner from last week's show. So that was, I asked you, the giveaway question was, what is the first quilt you will finish in 2022? And our winner is Linda Friedrichs. So congratulations, Linda, $25 gift card coming your way. And her answer was, I think I might work on a steamy windows. That's a great quilt, a quick one, kind of a no-brainer, not too much thinking. I love that. So as we kick off this new year and a new year of sewing, and we are actually planning our shows and events for the year, it's always great to hear from you guys, from you viewers. So let us know in the comments things you enjoy about Tipsy Tuesday. So what are some of the segments that are your favorites? Are they the quilt alongs? Maybe it's just when I give you some tips or technique episodes. It possibly is when we do Q&A, questions, answer questions, special guests, or maybe it's just the new product showcases with the fabric pulls that are your favorite. So let us know now in the comments what you would like to see more of, and we will try to oblige. We'll do all our best.
More of everything.
More of everything. Well, we are here for it all. So thank you all for being on that journey with us every day, every week, I should say. Of course, I wanted to also give you a little bit of an update. Now, as you know, we have been plagued with delivery issues throughout this past year and a half or more with fabric and such. And so we've figured out ways around it, and sometimes just waited patiently. We've been able to kind of deliver everything we needed to deliver if we don't count our Christmas in Europe kits. They came a little bit later. But unfortunately, our Color Club, I have a little bit of an update. Because of the shipping surge over the holidays and the overall delay of fabrics, we are still waiting on one fabric. Actually, we got half of it and we're waiting on the rest. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to ship right away tomorrow. So if you are a subscriber of our Color Club, and as you know, on the 5th of each month, your card gets charged. So that'll be tomorrow, and then we usually start shipping them out right away. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wait, and you know me, I don't like I like everybody to get their package right around the same time. So we're just going to hold all the packages back. Hopefully it won't be more than a week or two, so that we can then ship everything out as soon as we get that last piece of fabric in. So don't worry, you're going to love it anyway. It's worth the wait. This one is worth the wait.
Okay,
so,
fine.
Okay, I just wanted to give you that update. I will send out an email to all my subscribers as well, just to tell you. all about that. All right, another update on our Stripology virtual retreat. If you've been watching our shows, we launched our or announced our virtual retreat dates right before Christmas, and 5 days later it was sold out. So I wanted to gauge your interest, if there was more interest for adding another session, and boy did you show interest. So because of all of your signups for notifications, we are going to be adding a second date, so a second session of our retreat. We just have to figure out all of our optics still. We have a date in mind, but I'm not ready to announce it quite yet. We have to figure out that we will have all the kits, all the fabrics available, so stay tuned. It'll be most likely next week that when we will announce that second date for our second session of Stripology Virtual Retreat 2022. Yay. So, yay! I'm very excited about that. We had so much fun last year, so now we get to have fun with twice as many of you. So that'll be fabulous. So that before I talk about the Jackie Quilt Along, any questions on either of those? I should check it with you. Any questions on either of those?
No. Those are just exciting. Okay,
great. That's great. So before I go into the Jackie Quilt Along, I wanted to give you some good stash management, or should I say collection management tips to start off the new year. This is something I like to do beginning of the year, and then you kind of do another one, kind of like a spring cleaning, either in the spring or sometimes in the fall. I like to do this at least twice a year, sometimes more often, because if you've been following me for a while, you possibly are aware of how I organize my collection of fabric. I don't store any leftover yardage if it doesn't measure at least a third of a yard. If it's less than that, it goes into this basket. And anything smaller and odd pieces of leftovers, if they're at least, you know, 5-inch square or they're full width, I throw that in there, and then I chop everything up into usable units. So as you may know, I like to write patterns using 10-inch squares, 5-inch squares, 2.5-inch strips, and 1.5-inch strips. I also, of course, write patterns for fat quarters and sometimes yardage. It all just kind of depends. But those units, those pre-cut units that I love to work with, I cut all my leftovers into those units so they are ready to go. Whenever I want to just practice a block or just put together a quilt, everything is pre-cut, ready to go. Of course, using the Stripology ruler, so everything is cut into accurate pieces. So I just wanted to share with you, kind of embarrassed because I should have done this this fall or spring, and I think I skipped it, or maybe I've just been sewing a lot more. But here's the basket that I use, and this might look a little bit overloaded, but I actually removed a stack this high first before I brought it over here. It's laying on my cutting mat. So this is my project for the next time I have some time here in the sewing room, and since we're probably not going into work with this, I'm going to be working on this. So what I do, I iron on my pieces, and then I start chopping up. So I will just grab here, I have some leftovers. Some of them are full width yardage, and some of them are, some of them I think are full width, yes, and others are from fat quarters. So I'll just show you in the overhead here. These are full width, this is full width. Oh, they're all full width. Okay, so these are not, they are only about 7-8 inches. So they are not going to be big enough for me to cut into 10-inch squares, obviously. And the thing is, with keeping a little piece of fabric like this, so if you fold it up like this and you put it on your shelf, and this is why I started cutting all my stuff up, is that I would take it out and then it's really not big enough for anything. So that's why I started cutting stuff up. So I would take these, I would iron them. These are not ironed, but let me just give you a demo. And then I will just stack a few up on my mat, just overlapping the folds here so I can see the folds because I want to get straight strips. So since this one would not get, I alwall always start with the biggest piece. Can I get a 10-inch cut out of it? And if not, I go to the next one. So that'll be a 5-inch cut. Now, I will stack sometimes multiple stacks just to save some time. So I would do this right here. And I can use the lines on my cutting mat to make sure everything is straight first before I put my ruler on top. So then I would just lay my ruler on top, make sure the folds are parallel so my strips are straight, and the raw edges are to the left of the 0. And then I'm ready to cut. So I'm going to cut 5 inches, and then I can also get a 2.5-inch strip after that. So I'm going to do that with this first one. Now I know there's a lot of new Stripology ruler users out there. A lot got a new ruler over Christmas. So I want to just mention I have a whole set of videos for beginners, or they're called the Stripology 101 series. But we want to make sure that you put that blade into your slit before you start pushing. You don't want to push in. You want to just I kind of sometimes go a little sideways and let it just drop in. And then you want to make sure you straighten it all the way out so it's parallel to the cutting mat before you put any pressure on. So then that first cut, all you got to do, 2 fingers here on that lip, because the ruler is going to stay in place. You don't need to do any of this. Just 2 fingers. If you're left-handed, of course, this is easy. But we make that first cut. And then I'm going to cut through the 5 and the 7.5. So I get my 2.5. Before I lift this up and move things around, I'm just going to cut this one. And so easy for me, I'm going to just follow the 10-inch slit, slide this over so I can get a trim. I get that 10-inch cut. And then I'm going to cut a 5, and I can cut a 2.5 as well. So this one moved on me a little bit. I'm going to cut on the 10, I line it up with a 10, and then I'm going to go on the 5, and then 17.5. So there it is. I've got, move this over here. I got 2.5-inch strips, and then I got 5-inch strips, which normally I would cut these into 5-inch squares, but when I have a full width strip like this, I actually tend to save them like this in strips, because that way, once I store them like this, if I do want to make a strip quilt, I can cut this strip into 2.5-inch strips instead of having it in squares. So if I'm going to do a pattern with 5-inch squares, easy, I'll just chop it up into squares before I start. So then, as far as how I store my pre-cuts, I've shown you this multiple times before, but since we have a lot of new viewers, I thought I would show you one more time. I have my strip drawers. So these are just Sterilite drawers. Can get them at Target, Walmart, anywhere online. I pull these out. Let me see. I can show you. So I sort my strips by color. So here are my blues. They lay, I fold it in half, and they can lay and fit into the drawers like this. So they can stack up so I can easily see what I have. I like that they're clear. I can see what I have. And once they start getting loose, now I'm going to cut all my stuff up, so these are going to get really nice and tied up again. And I like these to be like this all the time, because it just makes me feel better when I have some good inventory, a good variety if I'm making scrappy quilts. All right, so the other 2, the 10-inch squares, I use these Easy containers. Found these at Target, EZY, and they come in the 6-liter, and then they come in deeper too. I have the deeper ones too. I like these, and I do sort them kind of by color or theme. So these are my Christmas fabrics, but I can put way more than maybe just my Christmas fabrics in here. So I just use those dividers from the layer cakes, and divide them up if I need be. So maybe if I want to sort them, my lights and darks, and then the other ones, deeper ones, have more of these dividers because I have more colors in each tub. Love these, and they stack nicely, and you can still see what's in there. My 5-inch squares, I use these art bin 5-inch square boxes. They fit perfectly in here and ready to go. So this is how I store my pre-cut stuff. Of course, I don't cut up my fat quarters because I like to store my fat quarters. They're also stored in clear boxes by color or theme, so I know exactly what I have. And so whenever if I'm working with a bundle of ours, the half-yard bundles, and sometimes you need only a fat quarter, I will put the other fat quarter in the bin so it's ready to go. So any questions on this? Make sure to check out, if you're new to the ruler, check out the Stripology 101 videos. Just go right to my website. There's part 1 through 6. Even though the first 2 videos are using the original Stripology, all of the techniques and the tips apply to all, even the XL. So it will both give you tips on usage, some mistakes to stay away from, and then it'll also just show you everything the ruler can do. So it's just great to kind of refresh, and especially if you are new to the ruler. So any questions? I see more of you want to do some sorting and cutting of your leftovers. Yeah, I honestly, this is just the greatest because I don't end up with any leftovers, because we know those little leftovers, we fold them up, we put them away, they're too little, they're always too small, or they just get lost in there. You will never use them unless you cut them up and they're ready to go. So we always have, remember, we have strip-alongs every year, so that's a perfect way to use some of your 2.5-inch strips. There are all kinds of fun stuff that we do throughout the year. And you know, my books use those 5-inch, 10-inch squares, 1.5 and 2.5-inch strips. Oh yeah, by the way, my 1.5-inch strips, I store them also in those same drawers. They're just a little bit lower. So stored the same way. All right, so love the storage systems. And don't worry, somebody's saying, I feel so unorganized. Do not feel unorganized. I mean, my shelves get really messy throughout as I'm creating. My table is full of fabric as I'm creating. But I always get to a point where I have to clean it off and have to put stuff away and get organized again, because otherwise my brain doesn't work as well. It just gets too cluttered, just like the room. Would you cut half yards into 2 fat quarters or cut into 10-inch squares and smaller strips? No, I would keep half yards as they are. So 3rd yards and up, I keep as they are. So I have a shelf that is 3rd yards, between 3rd and up to a half yard. There's one shelf with all of those cut, so I know what's on there, so you don't have to take it out and measure it. And then I have another shelf that's half yard up to a yard. And then I have and I should say it's more than maybe one shelf, but then I have a shelf that's 1 yard and up, so the bigger yardage pieces. So it's just great that you know where everything is. It's open shelf, so I can see what colors I have. So half yards, I don't do anything with them. I don't cut them up until I start using from it. So same with the fat quarter. If I start using from a fat quarter, I will then cut it up. And so you may be seeing me when I'm cutting for projects, I will cut stuff up, and then there's a leftover right then and there. I will make those cuts right away. Like if I see I can get a 2.5-inch strips from those leftovers, I will make that cut right then and there when I'm cutting for that project, because that even saves me time. And then I just put it over into my bins. Oh, how do I store the 5-inch strips? So I just you have to figure out a really good way to do that, because I just started doing this recently. I ran into this thing of having way too many 5-inch squares, and I was like, I wish I could have chopped that into strips. But so I now have just baskets. So I will fold them. I'll show you. So I will just fold them like this, and then they kind of are lined up in a row in the basket, in the, like the bins like this. But I have to, I'll share with you if I find a good way to store them. So they just get lined up like this, so you can pull them out and just cut them into squares or into strips. So, all right.
You keep flannels separate?
I do keep flannel separate, yes, I do. And most times I will have some flannel strips and some flannel 10-inch squares, and then most times it's fat quarters that I keep for flannel. Now, I don't really bother with 1.5-inch strips for flannel. All right. Okay, great questions. All right, we're ready to move on, I think. Good questions. So, okay, great. Let's move on to our Jackie Quilt Along. I'm very excited to get this started. I've been meaning to do a sew along or a quilt along from my Stripology Mixology book that came out, now it's been a little over a year. So right away we did the Wanda, and so I've always wanted to do the Jackie because it's a cool technique how we make those blocks. If you have the mini ruler, it's very helpful for this quilt. We can use the other ones, of course, but so I would use like the XL and a combination of the XL and the mini. So there's Jackie as it is in the book. So all you need for the quilt along is the Stripology Mixology 2 books, which is available both in a printed format and a digital. I did get some questions if I was going to have the pattern available individually, but I usually don't do that. The pattern would be, single patterns usually are $10. This book is $28, but it has 13 patterns. And I promise you, they're all really good. And so you will use way more than just the single pattern. So I think it's always worth it just to get the book. The Quilt Along will just be during our Tipsy Tuesday episodes. So we start on January 25th, like we just saw on the banner. So January 25th is the first segment, and then it'll be consequently every Tuesday through February 15th. So plenty of time to kind of keep up and kind of space it out. So very different from our one-day quilt alongs. So the original Jackie uses a single background. Can you put that big one up on the full screen? That's the one hanging in the corner here, the one that's photographed in the book. No, not that one. The other one that's on the bike picture. That one, yeah. So this one uses a single background and just assorted 2.5-inch strips. So all of the fabric requirements for the 5 different sizes, there are 5 different size options for this quilt, are in the book. But as you probably know, if you've done my quilt alongs, I love to put a twist on things and change it up. So in the case of Jackie, I've always had this thought of what it would look like with different backgrounds for each block, and then possibly a consistent fabric for the strips. So we have actually made a few versions of this one. So the one hanging on the wall behind me is made with Daydreamer fabrics. So let's put that one up. The one hanging right behind me. Look how sharp that is. So really bright Tula Pink fabrics, and then I used just a spectrostatic gunmetal color for the strips, and I love how sharp that is. So this is great for really multicolored fabrics and anything like a little bit larger scale. Yes, it's going to get chopped up, but it's really cool effect. So this one would be great just to have a single. I like the single fabric constant, so it really calms, gives your eye to rest on them. It really makes those jacks kind of stand out. Then I wanted to try, what if we did an effect of a light and dark, like an alternating light and a dark block. So this is from our Bluebird of Happiness bundle. And then I just used 2 different colors for the jacks, or for the strips. So this one is just awesome. I love that we were able to do a light and dark just from the bundle. And then I wanted to try using the color fabrics from the bundle, so more prints. And we did this small version, just 9 blocks, with the Botanical Journal fabric bundle. So using all those beautiful black prints, and then some of the greens I just cut up into strips and used that for the strips. So we have way more fabric left of that bundle that we can make more. So just really love that, and some options. So how this one works is that you use a whole fat quarter for each block background, so you can have really so many different options in putting these together. And then you can use, of course, if you have strips, if you're saving strips like me, collecting, that's a great option too. Now whenever I do a quilt along, I have to always be really careful not to give away copyrighted information from my patterns in my free online shows. Of course, as you may have noticed, we have had some unsavory characters out there that have even stolen my videos and used them for their own content, and even they copied our content too, like when I've done adjustments to patterns, and they've copied that and put out their own for their own use. So I've had to kind of maneuver a little bit differently lately, as you may remember if you did our Phoenix Quilt Along in November. So what I did with that one, everybody that purchased the pattern to take part in the Quilt Along, the cutting video was in your account versus being in the free Quilt Along. Because if I were to show you all the cutting, then I'm pretty much giving you the pattern away and opening myself up for all kinds of copyright issues. So yeah, so we pre-recorded a cutting instruction video that everybody got into their account like a week before we started, and they could get their cutting done and watch the video over and over. You can stream it as many times as you want, and you will have it for life. So this worked out so well. We got great feedback on it. So this is kind of what the line I took with this. I'm going to take it a step further this time. So we're putting together a Jacky class, like a Jacky video class. So if you're interested in doing these versions of Jacky where there's a single block background, and so you have multiple block backgrounds, so you can purchase the extended pattern. So I wrote up the whole cutting instructions, the fabric requirements, cutting instructions, and the adjustments needed in the pattern. And so you will get that extended pattern and video class for $9.95. So what you will receive, of course, is the yardage requirements, cutting instructions, and in the pattern, and all the adaptations with the different backgrounds. And then you will also get a cutting instructional video about a week before we start the Quilt Along. So in addition to that, you will get the step-by-step video classes into your account on the days we do them live during Tipsy Tuesday. So that way you will always have access to the video classes forever, right from your account, so you won't have to look for the specific Tipsy Tuesday episodes if you need to go back to it, like when I'm doing that, so you don't have to find them that way. This purchase, of course, is completely optional. And so if you just want to make the quilt as it is in the book, you really don't need it. So you can just follow the pattern and the cutting instructions in the book. You will, of course, not get a cutting video because I'm not going to be doing that live on the free show. But this is an option for those of you that want to take it a step further and have more instructions right in hand. So right now, when you purchase this Jacky extended pattern video class, all you will get is the pattern. So the cutting instructions, yardage, if you wanted to do that different background type of quilt. So any questions on this one? It's just a little way for us to give more detailed information and not violate our copyright or open ourselves up for some unsavory characters. So, like I said, totally optional. But I wanted to show you, so the bundles that we use for the 3 quilts that we already made, the Botanical Journal. I'm going to show you that one first. I'm going to move my ruler out of the way. So this one, like I said, it has these beautiful blacks that we use for the background. Oh, yeah. See all your answers there. I'm checking on your questions. So you have those beautiful blacks, and then I did use the greens for the strips, but look at that. I have all these lights too, so I can take those and make another version with the lights. So it's a beautiful thing. So like I said, 1 full fat quarter needed for each background block. So for a lap size quilt, you will need 20 fat quarters. It's 20 blocks. So that means you can use 10 half yards. Sorry, yeah, 10 half yards out of the bundle, and then you would just need some extra fabric. So what I did with the others, I have the Daydreamer here. So here's Daydreamer that I used for the one hanging behind me. This is the Tula Pink bundle, and we did not use all of them because it is a 15-piece bundle, so it could have made a bigger quilt if you use all of them. And then I used the Gunmetal Spectrostatic for the strip. So that kind of not quite black, so it was kind of a little bit calmer than using a full black. Here's the difference between the full black and the gunmetal. I loved this combination. So then the third one was our Bluebird of Happiness. Now this one, I wanted to do alternating blue blocks, darks and lights. So because this bundle is pretty much lights and darks, it was a perfect way to do lights and darks. And then I used the Canvas French Vanilla as the strips for my blues, and then the Canvas Blue Jeans as the strips for my lights. So I have this quilt here. I know it's always different to see it live than on a screen. So let me hold it up for you, just because it didn't fit on the set. But it's just gorgeous. I love how this one turned out. So, yeah, I think this is just such a beautiful colorway. And having the two-tone or two colors of the strips is just perfect. So really, really a fun version of the quilt. So, of course, I had fun. I had fun in the warehouse, finding bundles, pairing it up with some 1-yard. So if you need ideas, I got them for you. So let's start with some combinations that I think will be really sharp and cool. I wanted to show you this one. If you want to get a Halloween quilt ready for next year, Midnight Magic, we still have in stock. It's actually on special, on sale right now because it's Halloween. And look at these. So you would use the Dimple Sinopia for the X's for the dark blocks, and then the chalkboard texture in the black for the orange blocks. It'll be really sharp and cool. So love to see this one. Another bright one that it's really kind of two-colored is the Jungle Paradise. We have all the warm colors and then the cool colors, and then you would pop in the orange for the strips on the green on the cool colors, and then the Spectrostatic Turquoise on the warm colors. So we will have all of these pairings up on the blog, probably not until about midday tomorrow. So check the blog. We already have a blog post going for Jackie Quilt Along, where you can go and find all of your information. Next up, this is Saguaro. Love these beautiful tones. We have the blues and greens, and then the purples. So of course, Bumbleberries in the Enchanted Forest would be a great option for the jacks on the purples, and then the plum for the other ones. So you could, of course, try and find a single color that would work. For example, this one, Band Practice. I really love this one. It's mostly neutrals, blacks, whites, grays, and then just little pops of color. So you could either do on the darker ones, you could do a white, but I actually love the idea of just doing like this light blue, which is a Jot Dot light blue on all of them, because this would stand out really nicely on every single fabric. So that would be just gorgeous. You could still do lights and darks for the placement of the blocks. Then we have Home on the Range. Love this because we have the warm colors, the rustic reds, and then we have the teals and the browns. So I would put a rusty red jack on the teals, the Provision Sienna, and then just a nice creamy color for the dark one, or for the red ones. Or you could find a teal as well and throw that in there too. Could be different options. And we have a we have a ABC Menagerie, a completely black and white bundle. So you could definitely just use Century black squares and then canvas whitewash for the darks. But you could also find a favorite color and use a single color for all of the blocks and still do a light and dark alternating block layout. All right, Violet Hill. Love this because we have a lot of greens and purples and then creams. So you can alternate with the Provisions Vineyard and the Mix and the Olive. And you can, for the light ones, you can use either one. So you can just kind of play it by ear with the placement of the blocks. This next one, it would be a very similar colorway to the Bluebird of Happiness that I just showed you. And this one is called Change of Seasons. We have these really nice grays, blues, and then chocolate browns. So you could even alternate 3 colors to do the gray on the brown, or the blue on the brown, and then gray on the blue, and then brown on the gray. So you can have fun with it. You could also just alternate too if you wanted to. So I just love all these kind of combinations and options. So a couple of more. If you wanted to do something like the Tula Pink one that is hanging behind me, so we have a lot of really fun, colorful bundles that have bigger prints or something that you don't want to cut up too much, and so this would be a great option for that. We have, and I wanted to show you some of those options. So we have Enchanted by Valerie Wells, beautiful bright colors, and so what you want to do is find something that will stand out from all of the prints. So it would either be a dark or a light, depending on what you like. So this one would be very good with it, for example, just like the Tula one. I feel the same way with this one. You could even do the sharp black, because there is sharp black in the bundle. And then one that I'm contemplating using, I have 2 options, or actually I have 3 new ones now that I might use for my quilt, and I might make 2. This henna bundle, I've always loved this, and such gorgeous colors and prints. And so I was thinking with this one, because there's so much white in there, that I would do a white jacks on it, and they would really stand out from all of them and just harmonize really nicely. So I think that's going to be at least one of the quilts. I may have to make 2 or 3. Few more if you want a lot of color. Here's Hummingbird Heaven. Lots of fun color. And how about doing it even brighter with the Grunge Lemon Drop as your accent? Makes it just so nice and bright and fun for summer. Another fun summer one is Sanibel. Colorful beach themes, and you could do a white, or you could do a dark too, but I think a white would be a perfect match here, because it wouldn't overpower it, these beautiful soft colors. A few more ideas. I couldn't stop. Madison one, a really modern, beautiful colors. I remember I used this for one of my Phoenixes, and you could do white on that. And then one of the ones that I like too is doing a dark deep navy. So the Dimples Midnight would really stand out from all of these, because there is quite a bit of navy. I would probably just leave this one out, because that wouldn't show up on that. Or you could have two colors going as well. Same thing with another modern line here, Mod Cloth by So Kind of Wonderful. And this is, again, modern prints, so putting something like a peppered cotton, because it's got a very organic feel, or even a blue would stand out too. I really like this charcoal color with it though, so I would probably do something like that. And then, last but not least, I love this line, Nature's Pace. Really beautiful, artsy prints. Very organic and bright colors, and I would totally do a navy on here. I think black would be too harsh, and there's a lot of blue tones in here, so that would be just gorgeous. So the options that I'm contemplating that I can't figure out what I should do is, one of them is using the monochrome. So Tim Holtz, as you know, I'm a Tim Holtz fan. So the monochrome bundle with all of those gorgeous prints, low volume prints, I was thinking I could possibly use these all different, so my quilt would have all the kind of like a light backgrounds, but they would still have those hue differences. And then as far as my jacks, I would just go into my collection, and yeah, I just went and raided the whole Provisions stack in the warehouse, because I realized I'm getting low on my inventory of these. So how fun would that be? Do really colorful jacks, but still have a scrappy background. So it's kind of taking both ideas and throwing them together. So I'm contemplating this. And then the other one is the henna that I showed you. And then the third one would be this nocturnal, which I really, really love. Nocturnal is, so we have grays, greens, and then this mustard yellow color and a teal in here. And I would probably go with, we have one of the prints with this line is a black, kind of a diagonal plaid. So that would be cool as my jacks, to use a black with all of these. So I don't have a quilt yet made out of this, and I just absolutely love this line. So I think that might be, I don't know. Tell me, which one would you do? I don't know. I can't decide. It'll be a last minute decision. So I hope this expanded your mind a little bit about what you could do with this pattern. Depending if you want to just use a single background, be very coordinated. It's background heavy, just so you know. Or do you want to branch out and do something different?
They're also great. How do you choose?
I know, that's the hard part. That's why I end up making multiples. Because they're just all so cool. Tim Holtz, everybody's saying. Some of you like Nocturnal too.
What was the last one called?
The last one is called Nocturnal, and then the first one I showed you was the henna. So I don't know. It'll be, like I said, last minute. I might end up doing all three. So, did you say we have any more questions on this? Oops.
Great options. Wow.
Okay, great. Well, if we don't have any more questions, I wanted to show you some new things that just got into the store while you're contemplating and weighing all of those different options. We have got some great new wide backs. So this one just came in. These beautiful, it's called Bliss. And it is from Northcott. 4 colors. We have the gray, purple, the natural, and then the teal green. So really awesome, large scale kind of hue. So as you may know, we sell our wide backs in either 1-yard cuts, which is 36 inches by 108 inches. So it's really like 3 yards of fabric. So of course you can use these as regular fabrics too, and it's a great deal because you're getting 3 yards of fabric for under 20 bucks. And then we also sell them in 3 yards. So that means that is 108 wide by 108 wide. So it's a square that is usually enough for most large, to your largest quilts, unless you're making extra large kings. So this was Bliss. And then the other cool one that I really love is called Modern Pyramids. So it's kind of like having a second quilt on the back of your quilt. So we have the patriotic and the jewel tone, and then the black and red. So really cool. Again, available in 1 yards and 3 yards. So the 1 yards are sometimes great because you could even use them for like smaller lap size quilts. So that's a good deal. We also got some 1 yards. This is a really cool fabric that is called Crate. They're crate labels. So there's all these orchard crate, old school crate labels. So Wildberry Fields, Ruby Red Patch, really cool. And then we got in some basics in 1 yards that kind of work with them, just like a chalkboard texture. But I already just love these for whatever else. And they could go with this. I just thought of this right away for the G-Easy placemat, one of our Advent projects. This would be great. Or even the aprons. These would be really cool aprons. So just wanted to show you this that came in. And then we got one new bundle in that would make a great harmony. No, harmony. Would make a great Jacky. And so it's called Equanimity, and it is very monochromatic. As you can see, it's just blues and taupes and grays. So I'm going to start with the darkest blue. There's a texture, and so they're all kind of modern, just geometric textures, not really no florals or anything. So it'll be great for masculine quilts. A great kind of a diagonal print. A little bit lighter blue. We have some circles with this really cool texture inside. Introducing a little bit of the taupe. And I love this one. The little uneven rectangles and squares. We have it, I lied, I said there was no florals. This, I guess, is a floral, but it's very abstract. So I would say it's more like just a watercolor texture. We have the same rectangles in the taupe color. This one is a directional print a little bit, almost serves as the stripe. Oh, I guess here's a different floral. Again, very abstract, but I do love it. I do love this one, this print. Another just a texture. And then we have the circles in a lighter color. That same floral in the lighter gray, and then the gray texture. So this is Equanimity. So you could totally use this for the Jacky and throw a pop of color in there. So first I thought right away how fun to do something like a spicy mustard with it, or even a plum or a nice teal. So just depends how sharp you want to go. But I did do a fabric pull if you wanted to add some similar colors in here. So the bluest of the blues would be that Deco Stitch Indigo Sky. I love that it has some of the lighter tones and some gray in here. The Bumbleberries Basic Indigo has, even though it looks darker, it has more muted tones to it. Then we have the Grunge in the Harbor, some of the lighter blue tones. The Provision Stone, some gray. And a little bit lighter than that is the Grunge Ash. And then I pulled just one more taupe. The Maven taupe is a little bit browner than these, but it would still blend and give it some dimension. I did pull some grays as well, so the Circle Burst and the Slate and the Dimples and the Cool Gray all would mix nicely if you wanted to add more texture to it. And then if you wanted to do a background, I would totally go just very light so that everything could stand out. So either a white on white or something super fun print that has a totally different texture than these prints, like the tailored linen or some of the Tim Holtz fabrics would work great with that. So this is Equanimity by Studio E is the manufacturer. Very monochromatic neutral. So anybody that loves blues and grays is gonna love a quilt made with this.
Gorgeous.
Yes, super pretty. Now I showed you last week, I showed you Sister Bay by Moda. It's been selling really well. We're almost, the bundles have been flying out. We sold out of the charm squares right away. We are getting more because as I showed you that runner that I made from a charm pack, and it's just gorgeous. So we are getting more of those. So you know, you can always sign up for notifications. If you go to that product, put your email in there, and then you'll get an email right away when we get that back in stock. So that'll be a good idea for that one. All right, so live winner. I've been talking and talking and talking. Surprised that I still have my voice, which is good. Live winner. Do you have a live winner from all of your comments?
Of course.
Oh, you're working on it?
Yeah.
Working on it. Kobe's coming to help. All right, so our live winner,
Kobe, are you
drum
sure?
roll. Oh, he's
Sure?
he's giving you some input on that.
Okay, well, here we go.
Oh, he's just getting the ball. He wants to throw a ball. There it is, Pam Brockfield. Congratulations. $25 gift card is yours. Send us a quick email to help@gquiltdesigns.com and we'll get you that gift card digitally so you can go shopping. Congrats, congrats. Now, we have another chance to win, of course, with our question, our giveaway question. I wanted to mention right before I tell you that question, we are not going to have a show this coming Friday. This coming Friday is no Friday show. Yes. we're gonna be busy. We're gonna do a little bit of traveling, so that Friday we try to figure out how we could work it out, and it's just not gonna work. So no Friday show, but I promise you the following Tipsy Tuesday will be even better. So lots of fun stuff. So the question I want to ask you, your second chance to win another gift card, do you have any New Year rituals? I just told you what I try to do at the beginning of the year, and so that's my job. That's my project right now. Now, I'd love to hear if you have any rituals that you do with the new year, whether that is your sewing room or anything else. Love to hear about it in the comments, and then we will randomly pick a winner and announce it next show, Tipsy Tuesday, which will be January 11th at 7 p.m. Central. Again, no Happy Friday show, so our next Friday show will not be until January 14th. So that is all for us tonight. I hope you enjoyed our first show of the year and are coming with us into a really fun and exciting 2022 full of sewing. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
See you, everybody.